don't know which way to go, the answer is Jesus and Elevation Radio.
God bless you. This is Elevation Radio 1, and I'm your host, Pastor Steve, the Music Man Turner. Thank you for taking the journey with us. I'm accompanied by the Queen. This is the program that spotlights positive people doing positive work and while serving a positive God whose name is Jesus. So let me say it again, J-E-S. Yes, baby. That's what it is. And listen, our segment today is the wisdom principle. The wisdom principle. And the question is, why aren't Christian authors ordained? So shocking. Let me say it again. Why aren't Christian authors ordained? Good God Almighty. James chapter 1, verse 5 says, go to the source of all wisdom, God, and ask him for more wisdom. But be careful. True godly wisdom comes at a price. Personal loss, suffering, betrayal, rejection, outcasting, and heartache. Today we have a treat in this author spotlight. We were supposed to have a treat. Doctor Leroy Mckenzie Enterprises, a book publishing minority enterprise, supposed to be here today, and a Christian author, Joyce Licorish, was supposed to be here today to talk about their books. And so we're going to be moving right along just in case something has happened. They can call in at 1914-205-5353, 1914-205-5353, but this is just too important to miss. And so before we get started, we're going to get the most beautiful part of this program, and that's to my wife, First Lady, or Queen. Yeah, give us that verse, James chapter 1, verse 5.
Okay. It's I give it to all men liberty, and I say it not, and it shall be given. Okay.
If any man lacks wisdom, let him ask of God, who giveth liberally to all, and that's important. And I think when we speak of wisdom, which is important, let me define that for you. It behaves right under temptation or affliction. That's what it says here. And that's important. Speaking of behaving right under temptation or affliction, one has to do that when they are pushed to the higher levels of doctoralship. And I think I have on the line. Welcome to Alex Radio. Who do I have on the line? Caller, you're live. Okay. 443-762. Talking to you. Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm here talking and I'm on mute.
Good God Almighty. And you are highly educated. College degree. So before we go, Lord have mercy. Who do we have on the line, sir?
I can't even get it out now. This is Doctor Leroy Mckenzie Jr. Thank you very much.
All righty. God bless you, sir. God bless you. And the Queen says hello to you. I was laughing at you at the same time. So, CEO, what's your company, sir?
It is JNF Emterprises, LLC. We are a distribution, publishing, and business consulting firm located right here in the great city of Baltimore, Maryland.
Mm-hmm. That's right. All right. Well, glad to have you, sir. And you have been known to be, yes, sir, you have been known to also be one of the founding first celebrity co-host of this program. Yes, And so it says here, God, when it comes to wisdom, people talk about it, but there's something to be said about it. It says that God uses the difficulties and challenges of daily life and work to increase our faith? And so that's an important question.
And you said, have I been challenged in what? Because you're kind of breaking up, so I didn't get all of that.
Have you been challenged in your daily life by God?
Woo! Absolutely. And I think that those of us who are ever moving are always challenged, or should always be challenged by God, because we should never be in a constant state of stagnant. If that makes any sense, because He's an ever moving God. So if He's ever moving, and those of us that have chosen to follow Him, we should be ever moving and elevating ourselves as well. So yes, absolutely.
And we're not talking about running from place to place. We're talking about ever moving and studying and preparing and practicing and meditating and things that do the best that you can with what you got.
Yeah.
That's important.
Yeah. I liken it to always be producing. What are we producing? We should always be in a state of producing, because everything that God created, He created to produce. And that's not just in a physical sense. That's in a mental, spiritual, emotional, I think cultural, all of those aspects of life we should be producing.
All right. Be careful, sir. I sound like you're trying to show your I got to use some big words now. To a doctor. Oh Lord. I think this is unusual here, but okay. The number again to call in is one. Say it like I'm talking on the radio, which I am. 1-914-205-5353. Okay. I said that playing it off as my guest.
Okay.
Good God. Okay. And so we were saying basically that says knowledge of one's own ignorance is the beginning of wisdom, and that's pretty heavy right there. Knowledge of one's own ignorance is the beginning of wisdom. So most people are not truthful to themselves to say that I just don't know that. Just can't comprehend that. So you're going to say, I want to do. Can you do so and so? It's like, well, yeah, and really you can't. Because why it takes so long to get it? Instead of trying to figure it out, go to YouTube and try to study it. No, I can't do it. If you don't know, just say I don't know, and I'll get back to you. But I mean, as you are a doctor now, you just know everything, don't you? Leroy? Dr.
Yeah,
McKenzie?
I'm here. You're breaking up really bad, so it's very choppy. So I can't. I'm getting bits and pieces.
Let me go to my guest. Joyce Licorish, how are you?
I'm great. I'm fantastic. You are breaking up just a little bit, but thank you for having me on the show. Sorry, it was a couple minutes late joining. I had written the number down instead of pushing the link, but I'm here now.
Okay. Here. All right. And since I'm talking to you, tell us a little bit about who is Joyce Licorish.
So I am an author. I'm also a filmmaker. I'm a 6-time best-selling author. I write children's titles as well as adult contemporary fiction, dealing a lot with historical topics. My latest children's book is God Has a Paintbrush, and it really just speaks to all of God's creation and how He's created us all equally, and all the amazing colors in the universe that He has created, including our colors of our skin. And it's really just a lesson in love for children when they see someone that looks a little different than them, to understand that we are all essentially His children.
That is definitely true. I want to just a little housekeeping here. If anyone has a speakerphone, can you just turn it off and you can't listen to the program while you're talking at the same time. All right, let's move forward. So, paintbrush. That's a great concept. Where'd you get that from?
I actually was cleaning the house, and it just popped in my head, as most of my stories do. I stopped, I ran upstairs and wrote it as a poem at first. And I just look at my son and my grandson. My son is 9, and my grandson is 4. And my grandson is biracial, and my son was asking, because he's a lot darker, why Mason was white, and just trying to explain that to a kid, and, that it doesn't really matter what color he is. He's our family, and God loves us all. It just kind of popped that in my head while I was doing the dishes. So I went and wrote the poem first, and then I said, you know what, let's make this a story. And I went ahead and wrote it as a book, a children's book, and had it illustrated with the 2 children, my grandson and my son, being taken on a nature walk by their grandmother, who's explaining to them all of God's wonders. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds great. That sounds fantastic. Let me introduce you to who's on the line. We have first and foremost the first lady of this ministry, which is the Queen, Lady.
Thank you, Lord. God bless you. Thank you, Lord. God bless you.
Okay.
Wonderful to meet you. Wonderful to meet you.
All right, and then we have a old veteran of this program, Doctor Leroy Mckenzie, Jr., author of the JNF Enterprises, author and book publisher, who is on the line, an old veteran. Say hello to Joyce Licorish.
Good evening. Good evening. It's a pleasure to meet with you and join you this evening. I love the concept of your children's book. That's phenomenal.
Thank you so much. And I think it's such a necessary thing in this time where our children go to school and are taught that God is not real and that everything is science, So my son also has asked those type of questions. He's into dinosaurs and whatnot. And so he's come home and go, well, they said, this is carbon dated so-and-so and that it was before, Adam and Eve and all that. And so explaining to him that despite what science may say, or, these are not facts. These are theories, you know what I mean? And that God is a fact. And so just getting him to understand the difference, that has been an eye-opening thing. And most of the people who have gotten the children's book love it for that reason. I'm not pushing God, but it's more like, how can you look at these wonders and not know that they had a creator? You know what I mean? So that's the point of the book.
I like it. Boldness about God. That Kingsman asks for it, wisdom in discerning. In 1 Kings 3, 5:15, says here that God gave him, because he wanted to know how to rule people, God's people. And his interest was not the fame, which is like, some people would ask for. What do you want? They said it came to him in a dream. What do you want? I mean, I would like to have that too. I'm sure you would too, Dr. Mckenzie. God shows up in your dream and says, what do you want? I'll give you whatever you want. What would you ask for? Let's try it out. Let me go right to Dr. Mckenzie and ask him, if I could show up to your house, in your bedroom, and enter your dream and ask you, I'll give you whatever you want. What would you say?
Well, I'm gonna refer to the word and what King Solomon asked for, which was wisdom, first and foremost, from him to be able to understand and how to be able to handle whatever it is that he's going to be taking, where he's going to be taking me. And then the second thing would be what his will is for me, because I don't want to be outside of anything that he wants to happen. Not that I could be outside of anything that he wants for me, but that would be the thing, wisdom, and then to be within God's will.
Okay, all right, I got you. And you're doing that now because you're a doctor. Probably before that,
no.
As let me go to my my favorite guest here, best-selling author Joyce Licorish. If same thing, I pose the same question to you. What would you ask for?
I would definitely ask for peace, and I would ask for discernment. The discernment piece is to understand who should be in my circle, who is meant to go on this journey of life with me to be able to accomplish the purpose that he put me here for, so that I can just get to it.
Oh, okay.
Just weed out all the people not meant to go and take the ones that are.
Oh, my God. We can weed out all the chicken heads and the...
I just want to get to it, God. Who's meant for me and who's not, and let's just lock arms with them and accomplish their will. That's what I would like.
Oh, this is getting exciting. If you're excited out there, call it 1914-205-5353, 1914-205-5353. And last but not least, let me ask my wife, the Queen, get the answer. What would you, God asked, told you, would you give anything you want? Sweetheart?
Well, I heard you say that.
Yeah, if God asked you, I'll give you anything you want, what would you ask for?
You said if God asked you to what? You said it again, please?
I'll tell you what, I'll come back to it. Let me back to it. Let's see here. Tell us a little bit about your book, the Timepiece.
Absolutely. Thank you. So The Forgotten Timepiece is a story of the girl who is adopted. She finds out by way of tragedy and losing her adopted mother that she is adopted. She happens to be adopted by a white family, and she's always assumed that she was white as well, although she looks like she's got a little something in her. Well, she goes on a quest to discover her roots, and she discovers her African-American grandmother, and she's not real pleased about that. So to teach her a lesson, her grandmother gives her a family heirloom that was created by her great-grandfather. It was a watch, and it causes her to time travel back to 1859 to the plantation where her ancestors lived, and she has to live out her great-great-grandmother's life as a slave until she accepts who she is and comes back to reality.
Wow. What do you think about that, Dr. Mckenzie? Junior.
No, I love that. I love that thought processes and the dynamic that creates, because you're going back into a whole nother time set and a whole nother way of living. So I think that's interesting, very interesting.
Yeah, and it's
time travel.
Really resonated with a lot of people. Yeah.
You're talking about time travel. Black folks can't discuss anything about time travel. Can we?
Absolutely, we can.
All that far there. According to some folks. So, oh my goodness. Let me ask you this question, since we're talking about wisdom. And since Alan was asking for wisdom to judge properly, could we actually give some wisdom to the judge that had that case that was written out? Because he let him go for 5 charges of severe criminal activity and straight up homicide. Evidently, when he was thinking properly, the judge. Was he? No. What do you think about that?
It's funny that you brought that up, because someone I considered, I shouldn't say a friend, but more of a mentor, happens to be a white male who is very big into network marketing. And somebody I used to mentor me years ago made a post, and he is for the judge's verdict, and he is for this boy being free and was relieved that he was free. And his entire timeline consists of other people who feel the same as him, which blew my mind. Now, not to make this a race issue, but they were all happened to be not African American. So I knowing him for years and years, I've been friends with this man for over 10 years. I commented and I said, so what you guys are saying is that it is okay to drop off your 17-year-old child with an assault rifle or a AR-15, I think that's what he had, in the middle of a riot or in the middle of a protest, you would do that. That's okay. And it's okay to send him there knowing that has to be his reason. What other reason would he go with a gun? What parent would make that okay? That decision alone, that thought process that's okay, that is very disturbing. I said, you are the problem if you feel that's okay. You are part of what's wrong with America.
Well, we got some dialogue here. We got dialogue here. Now let's go here to Dr. Mckenzie. What do you think about that, sir?
No, I think she nailed it. I mean, that's simply what it boils down to. This case was set up from the very beginning when the judge told the prosecutor that he could not refer to the deceased as victims, but they could be referred to as rioters and looters and arsonists. That set the whole tone to me for the case. And even once you got into the case, how he berated the prosecutor, and then how he treated the prosecutor versus the defense attorney, how they even treated this boy. I mean, I've never seen a case where the defendant got to choose the jurors. I was like, where they do that at? You know. So it was a setup from the beginning, and then them dropping the misdemeanor charge of having the AR-15. This is, and I'll keep saying this. I will keep saying this. And I told my buddy who used to be in the service, I said the AR-15 is a war weapon.
Yep.
What does a civilian need with an AR-15? I don't care if it's 17 or 65. What do you need with an AR-15? It is meant to kill people, not kill animals. It is meant to kill people.
Yeah.
And do you know that they omitted a detail from his trial? He had posted. Kyle Rittenhouse was recorded weeks before the Kenosha shooting, saying that he wished he had an AR to shoot at people. He put it on. He posted it, but the judge said it wasn't relevant to the case.
Wait a minute. Hold on a second. Let me ask you a question. Let me ask you a question here. I mean, we're not getting off subject. This is still about wisdom, because all you're saying is a lack of wisdom. It's that and the difference between godly wisdom, which does anything that's towards God to promote His kingdom and makes the glory of God our supreme treasure. But man's wisdom is delights in seeing himself as self-sufficient, self-determining, resourceful. And so if he posted it on, Facebook or some other site, why didn't the federal government, the FBI, the CIA, see that and stop him in advance?
Right. That's right.
Well, but I think here's the difficulty in that, because, and I mean, I don't think that you can, and I don't know if they've done it before, where you can't arrest someone for voicing their opinion about something because he hasn't committed a crime.
That ain't
he hasn't committed a crime. Say that again?
A statement. I want to kill somebody. I mean, that's you off the radar.
Yeah, but right, that's a statement. But you haven't. What crime have you committed by saying that you want to kill somebody? I could say that all day.
He has the intent.
But I haven't committed a crime. But I mean, you're a former policeman, so you tell me if I say that I want to kill somebody. Right, but that's intent. But is that an offense? Can I be charged with the? How could you prove that?
When you go back and you deal with assassins and arsonists and all that terrorists, that's a terroristic statement. I want to kill somebody, and I'm sure he said who he wanted to kill, and then how did he get the AR-15? I had to bring it to him. He has to be registered in that state supposedly, but it says it's open carry. You can do that. How do you get that the money to get it together? And does the parents sign for him?
No, from what I gathered, they said that his friend, I guess the gentleman that he supposedly was supposed to be looking for, whatever it was, or something like that, he was the one that purchased the AR-15, which I don't necessarily believe either. But he said he purchased the AR-15 and it was at his house. That whatever his name is, he didn't carry the gun with him across state lines, but he got it once he was there. But the thing was, it's just so many things that were so wrong with that. The mother driving him to the rally. I'm sure he had to get out of the car with the AR-15, or he was still in the possession of the AR-15 when he was there, and he was underage. But here's how they got away with that. They said they dropped the charges because they said it didn't meet the standard length. I didn't know that there were lengths for AR-15s.
Oh,
I was just like, they were trying to find every single way to get him off.
Sure.
Yeah.
And author Joyce Licorish, did you know that I can't think of that guy's name, Matt, somebody in Congress is a Republican. They were hailing him as a hero, going to offer him a congressional job.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes.
Yep.
Insane.
So, and making T-shirts to his name. He's probably going to be on speaking tours. He's a Republican.
Statue too.
Yeah, or he's a Republican poster boy. And that's the wisdom, man's wisdom of the Republican side. Find the father, Trump. And so all election judges are being threatened. You've got laws, 400 laws been written out to keep you and Dr. Mckenzie from voting. Because we don't want y'all voting. Matter of fact, y'all will be reading. What y'all doing on this program about books? You're supposed to be not being able to read. But you're reading and being educated. We don't want you to have any voices. Matter of fact, just shut up. 1-914-245-5353. They want you to be solid. And Professor Licorice, you're not supposed to be writing books. You're not supposed to be movies. Who do you think you are?
Well, I'm about to shake the world up with this next film we did. Take some things up.
Oh, are you talking about an exclusive here on Elevation Radio 1?
Well, I actually, my book series are all being adapted into films, but I like doing films that are on controversial topics. Even our documentary series, it's on controversial topics, things that are swept under the rug and aren't discussed. And so I'm definitely looking to shake things up.
Well, I'll tell you what. I don't really know if you picked out your cast and things of that nature. But I can tell you 3 people who are more than willing and able and available to help you be in do this movie. That would be just commit Dr. Leroy Mckenzie Jr., my wife, and myself. Good God of me.
Well, hey, I welcome it. I absolutely welcome it. What's funny is the Forgotten Timepiece is book 1 in the series, but we're shooting it second. We're actually shooting book 3 first, which is The Lost Locket. And that's another controversial story that pulls back the curtain on racism in the U.S. military back in the 1940s. And so that one is, it deals with they're all time travel stories that go to a different era. So this one, The Locket, is the conduit to take the modern day girl back, and she lives the life of a woman who is a nurse a black woman deployed as a nurse during World War II, just after D-Day to France, and she falls in love with a white soldier. But see, the divide happens when that riot occurred, and so we put some factual things in, even though it's a fictional script. So there was a riot between the black U.S. military soldiers and the white ones, and although the riot was started by the white soldiers, the black ones were lynched.
Oh.
And that story has not ever been told in film. So it's weaved into the fabric of our film. And even though, like I said, it's fiction, there are so many facts that we did, and we used a professor from Drexel University to fact find for us. His mother was a black woman, Rosie the Riveter, who built the warship back in the 40s, and he knew a lot of history that is just swept under the rug. And so we dug up and did a lot of fact finding to put that script together. We just took a trip out to France to find our locations, and we'll be shooting that one first this coming May 2022.
You said May?
Yes, in May, and that's called The Lost Locket. So, yeah, that book is also available on Amazon, as is The Forgotten Time and The Forbidden Ring. It's a trilogy. There are 3 books in the series.
Hold on a second. Since we're doing my education here. A trilogy based in France. Fantastic. And you said May. That's what I'm talking about. So I guess I will submit my and my wife.
Yeah, so go ahead and send it over.
We'll just get Dr. Mckenzie in there too.
There you go.
Say yeah. I ain't scared to travel. That's true. But anyway, let's see here. 8. It says 8 characteristics of godly wisdom. Does anyone want to take a guess at what they are?
It broke up right when you said it.
Okay, there are 8 characteristics of godly wisdom. Does anyone want to take a shot at what they are?
Five-fold ministry.
I'm ready to try to guess at those.
Is it the five-fold ministry?
No, sweetheart.
Oh.
I can't believe I got this panel of collegiate people.
Well, I would say your wisdom would definitely be come from, there'd be humility there involved for sure. Because godly wisdom, I know in James 3 and 13 they talk about that.
Okay, I'll give you that one. Go ahead.
Okay. That was one. That's what I thought of. Humility. Okay. All right. Somebody else's turn. No.
I think discernment would be another one.
Okay. That's
what?
Discernment. To discern, to tell the nature of people, what their intentions are.
And I know you want to try to see things from a godly perspective and act according to that perspective of God in all that you do.
Okay, you fished that one, didn't you? So, if you looking like my guests need help, call in at 1-914-205-5353. Oh my God! You got any more?
Would have to be peace involved, not unselfish.
That is one right there. That's another one for you too.
Okay.
You're beating the pack right now. Come on, Dr. Mckenzie.
I mean, I'm not sure. I
can't.
I think it has to be sincere. It has to be sincere, genuine.
Yes, it is. That's on there. That's on there too. Yeah.
Humble.
Said that already. So we can't.
Okay.
No cheating. Cheating, please. Thank you. That's so crazy.
Well, I think being impartial too, and making sure that you are living by God's wisdom and you're consistent. For example, like in looking at sin.
No examples. Just one word. You got it wrong. So you got it right now. And ask my wife, what did they ask you to do, sweetheart, when you married me?
To stay focused.
No. All right, let me just tell you.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. She's got 4. And so, that's a whole other show. That's a whole other show by itself.
Kind. Be kind.
Yes, you are kind.
I know kind.
And that's called full of mercy.
Mhm.
mercy. I'm not, but she is.
I appreciate that.
They
Thank you.
They run to her all the time. Like yesterday, Dr. Mckenzie, my co-host, when he can't handle whatever I'm doing, he'll say, "Go ahead, Mama. He acting up. Can you help me?" Well, he used to do it. Okay. Quiet today. What? Anything else? Okay. All right. Let me just. Huh? Are you tapping out?
No.
Are you tapping out? No. Okay. Give me more, sweetheart.
Could it be including our opinion and stuff? Oh, no.
No. Got too much of that. No. Help me. Let me just end it close. Normally I've cut this off, Dr. Licorish, but I've got to live here, so I got. I haven't gotten my dinner yet, so.
Not yet.
Oh, yes. 20 minutes. One more statement. One more guess.
Let me see. They used the word humble already.
Yes.
And then strength.
Here's. Nope. So let me end it right now. No, let me end it right now.
Is like strength? Okay.
Amazing. First one is pure.
Virtue.
Pure. Pure. Second one is peace loving. In other words, once the situation is a bunch of nonsense chaos, you end it. Yeah. Consider it. Have strength and power under control. You consider it.
I said strength.
No. Okay. I'll give you that. Because I don't want trouble.
Thank you. Okay. But I did say strength, and you mentioned.
I understand. I don't want trouble. Okay. So, help me, Jesus. Submissive, willing to listen and learn. Dr. McKenzie, that's another show. Alrighty. And we're in trouble. Full of mercy. Forgiving those who wronged us. And that's my wife right there. Because you wrong me, I'm gonna think about you for a while. She'll say, "Hey, you have to do this way because you're a pastor and you're gonna be forgiving, sweetheart." I'm like, all right. Full of mercy, forgiving. Yeah, I said that. Full of good fruit, willing to help those who have hurt you. And it says here, seeking his wisdom at every moment. Impartial. Yeah. Only trying to please God and not man. And that's where we have problems. We do everything from writing books to speaking to just everything under the heavens. We are trying to please someone else sometimes other than God first. You want to try to get the opinion. Trying to get the latest marketing statements. Trying to get the branding. And but God's ways are not our ways, and so maybe His thoughts are totally different. So sometimes I have to ask the question, like when I do these programs, I have a certain thing, or sometimes I get the direction. I ask, "What do you want?" I ask Him first, and then I don't understand it. The program comes together in pieces, and I don't understand it sometimes when it sounds until I'm in the middle of it. Then I understand it.
Right.
If you're not used to not having understanding, natural understanding, you have to deal with God's understanding. Then you will get the understanding for yourself. Okay. All right. And lastly, sincere. Are you a sincere person? Genuine without hypocrisy. That wears no mask. Because of the pandemic. What the mask you wear because you like to fake people out. Because you're a hypocrite. That is not wise. Because it'll come back at you.
Right.
And hush fell over the ground. And folks, get your book, best-selling Christian author Joyce Licorish.
You can grab it on Amazon.com. If you just type in Joyce Licorish, which is Litorish, it'll bring up all my titles. I have 5 titles that I have authored. I also co-authored a book called Broken Crayons, Still Color. It's an anthology, and it is all women's stories of triumph over adversity and overcoming by the grace of God. So if you're also interested in those kind of, that is a nonfiction book. Broken Crayons, Still Color is also a bestseller, so that one is available as well. And yeah, I just thank you so much for having me on the show today.
We're not through, but I was going to see if I could segue. I'm going to have to use another big word. Since I'm dealing with big people. Is that, saying Broken Crayon, how much is that book?
I believe it is $18.99 on Amazon, Amazon.com. You can also buy the ebook. I think it's only like $3.99 or $2.99. I can't remember. The ebook is available if you like reading on your cell phone or on your tablet. That's the more cost-effective way to go.
Well, that's my wife. She does everything on the cell phone. I was going to try to lobby to get her Broken Crayons because she loves to be empowered and also read on the cell phone.
Yes.
I see.
Thank you for that.
Oh, it's no problem. I was watching out for you. I want to say that there's a section of Facebook that deals with stories, your stories. And when I put pictures of myself there, I rarely get any responses. When I put pictures of my wife, I get all kinds of responses because they're real pretty.
Of course.
So I somehow started recently putting pictures of some of my guests on the same segment. And I discovered that when I put your picture there, it just kind of went crazy.
Oh, wow. Well, thank you.
so I've got people who don't talk to me who are all up in there trying to look at your picture. So I expected them to be calling days. So, there's something, we really get 1-914-205-5353. I must say, here's the subsection question, which I have not asked yet. So why aren't Christian authors ordained? And I say that crazy. I say that because you are listening to God, hopefully, to get your inspiration. You have to be before God. You have to hear His voice. He directs you to write what you're writing. You have to be prayed up, sanctified, and peace and meditation. You're doing everything the pastor does. Everything the minister of music does. And so I have been an ordained minister of music. I'm an ordained pastor. I've written a couple books. So what is the difference? You have to go and speak, make presentations. Hopefully you'll change people's lives and encourage them. You're feeding them. Good God, somebody wants ordained.
Was that question for me?
That's a question for, I only have 2 authors here, and that is, and a publisher, and that is y'all. And for the listenership, there, 1-914-205-5353. Just saying, just tossing out there.
Well, I would say for me, I hadn't given thought to being ordained, but I feel like I walk every day in my ministry because I write things that in my spirit and in my heart by none other than my Creator. And the things that I write about always have to move, touch, and inspire people some way, either to take on a proper perspective, a more godly perspective, or be open to the fact that He's real. And so I feel that that's me walking into my ministry without necessarily being ordained, but that I'm still answering that call, if you will.
There are such things. As a matter of fact, we're part of Dr. Mckenzie. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm here. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Dr. Mckenzie, he's ascertaining and putting it all together, is that we're part of another organization called AOT, Christian Authors on Tour. And when she first, Dr. Lynn Pender, when she first talks about to the writers, she said writing prophets or something of that nature. And there is such a thing as writing prophets, because I want to. So I wondered why I had to, when I had the church, doing it for 3 years, in the brick and mortar, while I was writing down all my sermons. I didn't understand that, because I came up apostolic, and you don't want to write nothing down. You're supposed to just preach it from the heart and the mind and flow. And so I thought I was being anti-apostolic when I wrote everything down and kept it. So then I met him through Dr. Pender, and I asked him, can you actually make a book out of stuff you've written down like sermons? And he's like, yeah. I said, would you actually help me do that? He says, well, yes. So that was our second or third book. It's called Stormproof. And so we'll be talking about that on November 11th, I believe, from 10 to 4, with the Christian authors on tour. That's my little commercial on that day. And so he's going to be there too, also, I think, making a presentation. Let me tell you something, Dr. Licorish, if you have anything with somebody speaking to slaves or speaking to, in the movie, speaking to group, there is probably no one better to speak to groups and get them excited, the presenter, than this man here, because that's what he does. It's almost like 24/7. I don't know if you can really just kick presentations. He's a presentation machine. Go ahead, tell him what you know about that. Dr. Leroy Mckenzie Jr.
No, what I'll add to what you were asking about, authors not being ordained or not being ministers or pastors. To me, being a pastor or a minister or a reverend, that's a calling. Just as being an author and a speaker and coming from the perspective that we come from with our stories is a calling. And I used to tell my father this, because my father was a pastor, elder, and he used to always tell me that I was going to be a preacher. And we would have these discussions about, and I would tell him that, who are you to tell me what God is telling me? I said, that's for him to tell me, not you to tell me. That's, that decision is up to him, and then it's for me to accept that particular calling. And then even beyond that, I would tell him I don't have to be behind a pulpit to minister. Just as Ms. Licorish was saying, what she talks about, everything that she does, and correct me if I'm wrong, everything that you do is grounded in what God says to you. So that in and of itself, to me, is ministry. And that's how I see what I do, from my business to the books that I write. Everything is grounded in what he has given me, what he's downloaded into me. So I see it as ministry. It's not the traditional standing in the pulpit as you've done, Pastor, and you have the theological, where you actually study how to put a sermon together. All of the, the exegesis and the theological, what you all study in seminary. That's what you all study, how to do that. Just as other authors, and you've done it too because of the books that you've written, but you study this particular craft of writing. If you were to ask Ms. Licorish, how does she put her stories together? Like she talked about it. She was in her kitchen, minding her business, doing what she did every day.
Boom.
And
right.
And boom, get this download. I need you to write this book.
And my first book, my first bestseller was A Dream. And it haunted me for 10 years. It was recurring. And God was like, if you don't write this book.
Yep. Ms. Licorish, let me tell you, and I write poetry too, so I love the fact that about you, but I lie to you not. I had this dream one night, woke me up, and it was this dream of this woman. She was singing at my church on the stage, singing the song, and Pastor has the poem that I wrote. I woke up about 3 o'clock in the morning, and most writers can attest to this. When you get those, when you get those 3 o'clock wake up calls from God, and it's like, okay, all right, I'm up. Okay, what you trying to tell me? You know. So I had this dream of this woman singing. She was singing this song so vividly. So I wake up and try to go back to sleep. I could not go back to sleep. I had to literally get up and write that poem that night before I could go back to sleep. And I was like, Lord, I don't know what you want me to do with this. I said, because like I said, it was a poem to me, but it was her singing. So I was like, if you want me to make this a song, then fine, I'll do it. Because this is, this doesn't happen to me. This is not something that happens every day, all day. I'm nowhere near a singer. I couldn't write a note if somebody had a gun pointed my this to me.
I can verify that, Dr. Licorish.
Right, exactly. So I know about that those things that we get, the mission that we get, or the calling that we get, and on what we do. And everybody's not called to be a pastor or minister, just like the word says. He called some to be pastors, some to be elders. But he called some to be teachers and some to be other things. We all have certain callings on our lives, and those callings have directions in them. So to me, that's the difference between someone who's called to pastor or minister, and then someone who's called to minister and then or author and also be a minister or be in ministry. I should say it that way, not minister, but to be in ministry. That's how I see the difference.
I thank you for the contribution. I have discovered through intense investigation that Professor Licorish is a singer. And you should never tell me that. You should have warned her, Dr. Mckenzie. Tell me that you have extra gifts. Because I say now, live on Elevation Radio 1, we'll have a sonnet. That's a two-line song from Professor Licorish. Give her a hand as she comes. Fantastic. Oh, serious. Very serious. And if you'd like to hear us sing,
like a sonnet?
1-914-205-5353.
You want me to sing? Oh, Lord.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Well, the thing is, you're breaking up so much. I caught part of that, but the thing is, I am a singer professionally, but I've done mostly like theater type stuff and sang with the Indianapolis Opera and things like that. But,
wow!
That's my background. So I played Sophie and Color Purple too.
Well, sing either. If you can't sing a Christian song, sing what you know.
Oh, I'll sing something. Let's see. You want me to sing right now?
Exactly. No.
Okay, I got you.
You are the commercial.
I am the commercial. Okay. I'll give you a little something.
All right.
Why should I feel discouraged? And why should the shadows come? Why should my heart feel lonely and long for heaven and home?
Tell me the next verse.
All right.
At the whole house. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead. You can't
I know my
grandson
grandson came down here like, Granny, singing.
You can't believe it's singing now. I got my fan out. Come on. When Jesus.
Are you passing the mic? Pass the mic, but.
Okay, let's see here. Go ahead, sweetheart. Go ahead, take it tonight. When Jesus is my portion.
No, wait.
Oh, I was like, we got to represent this thing. I know Dr. Kenzie can't do it. Okay. I don't know if I can go into that.
Yeah, you ain't lied about that.
When Jesus is my portion.
There you go.
My friend is he. His eye is on the sparrow, and I know he watches me. All right, that's it. Listen, if you ain't got delivered and fired off of that, I know that Dr. Licorish could sing. I tell you, that was pretty. What do you think about that, sweetheart? How would you rate that?
I think that was great.
Well,
That's
thank you for singing on the cell phone. You know, hey.
I don't know, it sounds really good.
Yeah.
There's no way I would try to get up there and sing.
Oh, I love you, sweetheart. But it's anointed. That saying is anointed. I tell you. It's not like a
yes, it was. Yes.
What's your opinion, Dr. Lee Jr.? I think he was knocked out.
No,
yeah, I think
say that again.
That's so bad.
He was knocked out. The scene was so good. He fell out.
No.
My grandbaby was upstairs and ran down here. Granny, sing it. Came down here and sat on the couch with me.
Professor Licorice, Dr. Mckenzie Jr. is never without words. So when he is not speaking, he's been knocked out. And it's only happened one time ever. And so you got smelling salts or
wake him up.
Narcolepsy. What's it called? All right. That's awesome. So when is your CD coming out?
I haven't even recorded one. That's like we won't talk about that, but like that's a whole thing that's on my bucket list. I just haven't done it yet.
I may have a project for you.
Okay.
Matter of fact, since I was wondering if he was going to throw it in my face again about a poem, since he said he wrote poems, I was supposed to be writing him a song, and I haven't got around to it yet. But I think perhaps maybe I need to get to work on it or something, and then maybe ask you to help bring it to life.
Hey, I'd love to. I'd be honored.
We'll send you a WAV file and some paper. There we go.
Sounds good.
So I'm safe now. I don't want to get thrown under the bus like I was before. Dr. Licorice, when someone threw me under the bus and said I didn't write the song that I was supposed to write.
Okay.
He's very quiet again. Let me see here. What's the latest project you have coming up, Dr. Mckenzie?
Well, I have a project out right now. It's an anthology, The Soul of a Man 3. I Can't Breathe, and it's a project that I'm a part of with 13 other male authors who have just talk about our individual journeys as Black men, and how our lives have evolved or transformed, and then also dealing with the current issues that we deal with in our society, in our community. My chapter was on what's next. Where do we go from here? Talking about dealing with racism, dealing with the educational system, dealing with who we are as a community. And then as a people, what's next? What are we doing? How are we dealing with the aftermath of a George Floyd? How are we dealing with that as far as voting rights are concerned? We're still fighting to get that bill passed, unfortunately. These two cases that we started off talking about this evening are very prevalent and relevant to what we talk about in the book. Just because of just how we see we've been treated as Black men, and then how we've been treated as a people, as a whole. So that's the current project that I'm a part of and have out there right now.
All right, if folks want to contact you, how would they do that?
Sure, they can either do it through the website, which is www.JNF JNFenterprises.com. They can. We're on all social media platforms, but on Facebook under JNF Emterprises. Also Instagram, What's Up Baltimore Magazine, and then as well on YouTube, JNF Emterprises. They can look us up there as well too, or they can shoot us an email at jnfenterprises@gmail.com.
All right, Dr. Licorish, do you see what I have to do with? He talked about
You broke up, but I'm assuming you asked me for contact info. Is that what you said?
Well, I was saying that. Do you see what I have to do with? You see how long it took to do all that?
Oh, yeah.
About 3 minutes. He's a professional blogger. What's your contact information? What's your contact information, Professor?
Oh, mine? I'm sorry. I can barely hear you. This is really bad connected. My contact information. So my website is joycelicorish.com. She sings, she acts, she writes. All of those things are available. Access to my books, access to my speaking schedule, access to concerts and that sort of thing are all available at joycelicorish.com. If you're interested in just jumping directly to order books, feel free to go to amazon.com and order those books. The titles that we talked about today are God Has a Paintbrush, which is the children's title, The Forgotten Timepiece, and The Lost Locket. And if you want a quick shortcut on Amazon, if you type in Joyce Licorish or Heirloom Trilogy, you will see the 3 books pop up that we spoke of.
Ooh, I mean, let me go right here. Sweetheart.
Yes.
Okay, do you see how we were, I think, they say in the hall, under the camellia, that when you study under the feet of Beethoven and Haydn, and when you study under these learned people, you learn new words like anthology, trilogy. And so,
Oh my gosh.
my question, I want you to check this out, Professor Licorish. This gentleman here is recently bestowed the honor of doctor. And so he didn't talk about how you got that, but it's okay. If you want to say that real quick. How'd you get the title doctor?
Well, I was actually myself and 14 other individuals were bestowed an honorary doctorate from the United Graduate College and Seminary International today. Officially this afternoon, 12 o'clock this afternoon. But it is a doctorate, honorary doctorate in humanities for the work that we do in the community, that we do for people in our service to others. So that's how I got the official name of doctor.
It's all the work he did, and he does. That's fantastic. Let me see here. Professor Licorish, are you there? Did she leave?
Hear me?
I hear
still
you.
Here. My phone is breaking up, so hopefully it doesn't drop.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Don't move. And so what I want to ask you is, you hear what he said, right?
Yes.
Okay. He got authorships, about 13 or 14 authors, wrote an anthology. Did you hear that?
I heard that part, yes. And then it broke up.
Okay, and then he says he's got an honorary doctorate degree in humanities. Did you hear that?
Yes, I heard that part, yes.
Okay, but what you didn't hear is that he never invited me. He never asked me to be a part of this project.
Oh,
but it's all right.
okay.
It's all right.
No, stop right there. That was not my project. I was asked to be a part of the project. It wasn't my project. So get that straight. No, that was not my project. That was actually someone another publisher put that together, that anthology together, and gathered the members.
Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, I messed with you. It's okay. Like I always do.
Put that out there about me, not man.
trying to get folks to feel sorry for me. Anyway, 1-914-205-353. This, if you like this program, if you can actually be a part of the program, you can email me at elevationradio1@gmail.com, elevationradio1@gmail.com. Like us on Facebook. And also, if you're looking for an organist for your church for 2022, good God Almighty, you can go to www.ultimatepraise.us. That's www.ultimatepraise.us. Check out the new video done for us by the great George Sanders, CEO of Daily Gun Network. And what you got to say as you close it out for us? Did you enjoy this program? My wife there.
I'm here, yes.
Did you enjoy this program, sweetheart?
Oh, yes, I did. Absolutely.
Oof.
Indeed.
Okay. All right. You got an encouraging words to say to Professor Licorish.
Yes. It was a pleasure having you here, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot more of you.
Thank you so much. I hope you all will check out the books and give me your feedback. I'd love to hear from my students. I'm so grateful to have been a part of the book.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I'll let you know. I'm going to go for the crayons.
Oh, okay, got the crayons. Now, if she don't like it, Professor Licorice, she'll tell you she's from New York. They don't play around with mixing words. They just tell you straight what's happening.
Jump in and jump out. I love that. Give it to me straight.
Yeah. And she'll hopefully see more of you as she's on the film set in the movie, right?
There you go. There you go.
Right. Okay.
Shameless plug. Shameless plug.
I learned from some of the best people. Dr. Mckenzie, anything in closing to Dr. Licorish?
No, Dr. Licorish, I think it's phenomenal, everything that you've done and the books that you have. And I want to connect with you for some other things as well, too. I think it's just phenomenal what you're doing and the messages that you have with each and every one of your books that you have out there. So thank you for joining.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. It was awesome meeting everybody. Everybody has so much to add. And I learned some things. Hey.
Oh, okay. Well, if you don't awesome. Connecting, then I'm your agent.
There you go.
There you go. And
you only get 5% though. 5%.
give me 7, and I'll walk away.
All right, we'll talk about it.
Okay. All right. Listen, this has been another radio at Elevation Radio moment. I have a program that will be starting at some point under iHeart called Indie Focus Radio, where I'm less jovial, but at least more intense with my interviews of artists from around the country. So I'll tell you more about that, but if you would like to know more about it, hit me up at indiefocusradio@gmail.com. It's indiefocusradio@gmail. Here, I want to say that as I'm having these programs, if it hits the nerve of Satan, it usually takes the color out of my computer screen. That's why I can't see what I'm doing. And but that's when you know you've done the right thing and you did what God asked you to do. And so we're going to just leave on out as soon as I can find a song to play us out. And there we go. I think I found it. All right. God bless you. This has been another Elevation Radio One Moment. I forgot. Sweetheart, say that thing in Spanish you do.
Por favor, mantente segura.
I love it. Say it
Please be safe. Por favor, mantente segura.
All right.
Please be safe.